Welcome to the definitive guide to account simplification. Everything that you need to know to make sure that your ad account on Facebook can easily scale, that you have massive confidence in it, that it's going to get better and better over time, and ultimately you can make way more money on less and less work. Account simplification is something that, well, has been a touch point of debate for far too many years. Over the last several $100 million that I've personally managed and spent, we've been able to establish a lot of case studies with Facebook to really get down to the must-know details. So let's dive in to share what all of those are. We're going to get into three real big topics today. First one being data integrity. We're also going to dive into custom conversion events. And lastly, but potentially the most important for your bottom line, investment management. How do we dynamically manage our investment portfolio on Facebook? Now, before we get into all of that, I just want to say this. I know you could be literally anywhere in the world right now, and you've chosen to be here, and I want you to know that I say thank you. And I do think it is a responsibility of mine to share the absolute straight dope with you instead of something like, here's a 10x ROAS, and give you complete lies, or say, well, Facebook doesn't work anymore, and just ultimately feed that victim mentality that's complete nonsense. Also, if you enjoy what you see here, or you have any questions, it would mean the world to me. Go ahead and subscribe. Ask questions as we go along. I will personally respond to all of them. And if you like what you see and you want to make sure that you don't miss any more information, go to newsletter.facebookdisruptor.com and sign up so that you can get me in your inbox once a week, every single week. And if you want to work with me more, check out the Facebook Ads MBA program. It is the single best in class way to make sure that not only you're good at running Facebook ads, but managing your team and your time for profit and to maximize your confidence. Let's get into it. So, first thing that we really need to cover today is the less sexy topic, but ultimately one that I think is tremendously important. One of the reasons that we use account simplification, or that we prioritize it, is data integrity. So what we have to understand is really, what does that mean? Data integrity means that we are making sure that our investment with our money and our time is going to the highest value data that we can get, because ultimately Facebook is a machine learning platform. And what that means is the better and the higher volume of data that we give it, the smarter and smarter it's going to be to being able to do its job to benefit us. And ultimately, Facebook's primary role in our business relationship is to deliver us a higher volume of higher quality users into our sales funnel that ultimately hopefully ends with a lead or a purchase and then can begin their customer journey. Now, what Facebook needs to do this is we need to be able to give it the information to allow it to leverage the machine learning that it has and the trillions of data points that it has on every single user. Part of the biggest issue that I see people getting in the way of this, where people are working way too hard, and honestly, the harder you work, generally the worse the outcome is, because remember, you're not the one doing the work. It's the ads manager. You are the manager of the ads. They are the employees. Your ad sets, your campaigns, they work for you. Facebook is a vendor with employees. Your job is to manage that relationship. The more places that you're spending money, the more different audiences and campaigns that you're running, what you have to understand is that is an investment in keeping a lot of places dumb. You want to look at Facebook as the more money you spend in one specific place, the smarter that thing is, the better that thing is at a job. The longer you and the more time and money that you invest in training your employees, the better those employees are going to be. So when you're running 5 campaigns versus 1, understand that each one of those 5 campaigns is 5 times dumber than the one campaign might be if you put all of that information into that one single place. As a matter of fact, they're actually far dumber than that. Because there is a curve, right? There's a slope to that. So if you're constantly trying new campaigns or new audiences, and you're using, say, ABO or retargeting or interest groups and lookalikes, which by themselves, interest groups and lookalikes and behaviors, those are dynamic. So what they learned a week ago might not even apply to the people that are in that audience today, because they change all the time. Remember, those are out of date technology, right? Interest groups were made to rip off affinity audiences on Google 10 years ago. And Facebook stopped even supporting it with developers like 5 years ago. So it's ancient technology that Facebook themselves have been begging you not to use, and they don't even support. And lookalikes were invented to try to leverage some machine learning and give you a leg up. But that was before the optimized CPM environment existed. That's before this account simplification and optimization efforts were really paramount, because Facebook changed the way that their system worked. That change fundamentally changed the entire world. And now literally every social media platform on earth is trying to catch up with what Facebook did. You look at tools like TikTok, they're actually hyper aggressive in keeping people on the platform for as long as possible by showing them content that they want. If your ads are things that people want to see, they're going to be shown to the folks that want to see them. Your job is to make sure that ad appeals to the person that's best fit to make a purchase from you. That's going to be really difficult if you are investing in a lot of places, because ultimately, the more ad sets, the more campaigns, the more different audiences and products that you're promoting, the less data Facebook has on any one of those efforts, the less training you're giving that employee, the dumber those employees are. And I really need you to think about this as real world people. Not only on the other end of your ads, but think of the ad sets, think of the campaigns as employees in your company, right? If you're constantly starting a new audience and then turning it off, you're basically hiring an employee and then firing them. How much work are you putting into training employees that you don't intend to even have employed with you for the next 45 days? How many employees are you bringing on board? And if they're not the best employee in your business in a matter of weeks, you fire them. Wouldn't it be better to avoid that problem entirely and focus on using Facebook the way it's designed? Now, another problem with data integrity, and we'll get to this here a bit more, is, are you promoting multiple products? Are they all firing to a purchase event? Are you saying that a purchase of a $20 product has the same value as a purchase of a $200 product? If you're optimizing Facebook to maximize the volume of conversions, do you think that a sale of a product that costs $100 to sell is a good data point for a product that costs $20 to sell to look at and to say, I should be more like that? How many different products are inside of a single ad set? How many different products all have the same conversion events? How many different conflicting bits of direction are you giving somebody? Do you want your machine to be extraordinarily good at doing one thing so that you can rely on it for a long, long time? Or do you want to be chasing, hopefully, what works best and tremendously limiting your upside because you're never able to invest in the long-term growth of your business? One of these is a considerably better use of your time and effort. The last part that I want to get to about data integrity, and believe me, we'll get more to that last point here in a minute, is I hear the complaint all the time of Facebook's not stable, I can't trust it, the attribution is off, and all of this stuff. First off, you're never going to see the same result every single day. But you are likely to see pretty decent trends and be able to predict what's going to happen when you look at it week over week, month over month. That's why inside the Facebook Ads MBA program, one of the very first lessons is actually audit and Scrum. We dive into the ad account and make it so that you can see trend analysis week over week, month, by business objective, by part of your account. So that you can, at a glance, understand the trend analysis so that you can project results and be able to plan for weeks or months into the future. That's what you should be really investing your time into. The more moving parts you have, the less capable you are of dynamically managing your investment portfolio. So not only are you working harder to effectively keep the machine dumber and confusing it, but at the end of the day, that also means that you're not able to plan for the future. So you're basically doing extra work to get a worse result that prevents you from being more confident. That's why we simplify. That's why we have to prioritize data integrity. And that is fundamental to this. Now, if you have any questions about that stuff, please ask them below. I will absolutely get to every single one of them. If you want to know more stuff about this, sign up for the newsletter, newsletter.facebookdisruptor.com. And if you want to get more information, go to links.facebookdisruptor.com and you can find all sorts of other ways of connecting.